Welcome back. OpenAI is setting records with its latest funding round, but just as important could be a change in strategy. The CEO, Sam Altman, announcing plans to release a new open weight model in the coming months. Deirdre Bosa, what the heck does that mean?
I'll tell you what it means. OpenAI is jumping into the open source race, and that's really a move that could reshape its business and the industry. Details matter, though, like which model will it open source? If it is a smaller, less advanced reasoning model, perhaps this is more of a calculated concession in response to the DeepSeek breakthrough. If it's something bigger, though, like a version of ChatGPT 4.5, it would signal a fundamental shift in OpenAI's business model and competitive strategy. I spoke to a source this morning who was skeptical that it would go that far, but even a token open source move would be strategic. First, it could be seen as a rebuttal to Elon Musk's argument that OpenAI has strayed from its founding mission. Second, it puts pressure on open players like Meta, Mistral, DeepSeek to up their own game. Third, it helps OpenAI re-engage with the developer community, many of which have drifted towards more open ecosystem. And four, a well-optimized open model that could drive down API costs, making OpenAI more competitive in enterprise. And finally, but certainly not least, Kelly, the geopolitics. This has been front and center for the Trump administration, too. An open source model could be a strategic move in the global AI race, reinforcing OpenAI's position as a leader in responsible AI development and potentially earn the backing of the Trump administration. Now, one of the big questions around open source is how do you monetize it? But OpenAI, of course, now flush with $40 billion in funding, 500 million weekly users. It can afford to play the long game, which it signaled it's going to be doing.
So if I'm paying them $20 a month, which we are, and we're among those, I mean, that number is so massive, 500 million weekly users. That we haven't seen that since, Facebook and all those first came out and say, okay,
yeah.
If I'm paying them $20 a month and they go open source, does it affect my life, the way I'm using it and so forth?
No, you're still going to have access to all the different models. And I mean, it's what Satya Nadella said a few weeks ago. OpenAI is a product company. That's why you're paying $20 a month. I bet you don't really care if you're using 4.5 or 3.0 or which model, right?
But here's what I wonder. If they go open source, does it mean that anyone else can just walk in and kind of use the algorithm and launch a better product? Because theirs can be very glitchy.
Great question. So if they open source one of their more frontier models like ChatGPT 4.5, yes, it sort of loses that competitive advantage. Why would you pay $20 a month when someone can sort of distill it and offer it to you for free? And that's why it's unlikely that it's going to open source 4.5. So you get questions like, is it truly open source? Or is this just a token move or a token concession when the rest of the industry seems to be heading that way? Probably more likely that they're going to open source a smaller, less advanced model.
Got it.
But that will have an impact on enterprise, right? Enterprise, maybe you do care, Kelly, because you're so advanced. You're so smart. You care if you're using 4.5.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm using it for
whatever,
the dumbest stuff. And if I care that I'm using the latest model, certainly a company's going to care.
No, but I mean, for what they want to do, especially with an open source model, they basically take it and they fine tune it for their purposes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a debate, but I think that most users wouldn't care which model. I mean, they want one that's good enough, but right. I don't know if they need it for all the programming and math and coding that 4.5 is so good at.
Exactly. Deirdre, as always, thank you. 500 million weekly users. Congratulations to them.
20 million paying, I think.
Crazy.